So I think these are actually, this is going to be on uh, the next template. Um, let's get this. Okay. So basically, here's one. So basically, here's what it is. Let me show you how I do this. Right. So here's the original email that I wrote. And so with these templates, I'm looking for stuff that is less obviously like of my own just personal stories, because people aren't going to take my personal stories and use them for their stuff. So ever heard of Arnold Schwarzenegger? He's kind of a big deal, figuratively and literally. Obviously, you know who he is. He was a massive fellow, the greatest bodybuilder that ever lived, one of the highest paid actors of all times, international superstar, even became the governor of the best state in America, and he married royalty. If you haven't seen Bill Burr talk about him, here's the link. Funny thing is, I always thought of Arnold as just a famous dude with a super hot bod, until I saw that Bill Burr bit. I realized how amazing a human he was, not his moral code of sleeping with his maid, but his achievements. He's an impressive motherfucker. So this one's a little, so I think I went through and changed. So basically though, here you can see this is all the same, right? And so, okay, actually, let's just go through this. I don't know why I'm rushing. I ended up getting his biography, and I've watched a few of his speeches and motivational talks on YouTube. In fact, when I was in my phase of going from zero to hero, I'd actually listen to his video every morning. My routine was simple. I'd wake up, watch that video, hand copy or some copy I got from Copy Hour. As long as I did that, I was happy for the day. Then I'd write some copy of my own on good days. This morning I was YouTubing and stumbled across this video. It's Arnold talking about the number one reason most people fail. And you know what it is? They say maybe. That's it. That's the difference. People say, maybe I'll be a bodybuilder. Arnold says, I will be a champion. I am a champion. What do you say? How do you talk to yourself? If you're into copy and not making any money from it, then why not? Do you say, maybe I could make money as a freelancer, or maybe I can make this copywriting thing work? Maybe the sales letter will sell. Maybe I'll write some copy someday. That's weak. What would Arnold say if his goal was to be a great copywriter? What would he do? He'd say, I will be the greatest copywriter who ever lived. I'll work at it every day. I'll train. I'll learn. I'll actually write my own copy. I'll reach out to clients every single day. If I'm working a full-time job, I'll wake up at 5 to find clients. I'll write from 6 to 7. I'll do whatever it takes. That's the difference between those who succeed and those who don't. It's the number one factor. But there is a second factor: knowledge and beliefs. What do you know and what do you believe is possible? You can work harder than Arnold, but do the wrong things and fail. That's where, so this is where my mate John Logar comes in. He's a brilliant dude. He's the master of getting clients. He and I are recording a presentation. It may not be, but if you really want to succeed, you have to do it, and you don't have it now, then you'll make the time to be on this call. I'm personally excited because I know it's helped me serve my coaching clients. Hasta la vista. Okay. So basically what I did is then I took out some of the language and stuff, but what do you say? How do you talk to yourself? Do you say, maybe I could get the result? And so what I do with the templates now is I'm giving people the original email as well as the template so that they can see what I actually did with it if it's a little more complex. So basically you take the pieces that are specific to the niche you're in, and then fill them in with the thing that's happening. Maybe I could become a copywriter, right? Result that they want. Maybe I can. And then you just start to take out these pieces. So is this helpful to you guys? Like, is this what you're looking for, is like how to make your own templates so that you can just, if you're working for multiple clients, basically take something that works and then fill it in? Is that what you want? I'm asking you. Cool. Gary, is that, you can unmute yourself for a sec, Gary.
Yeah, this is, I was thinking more of like how, and maybe it's just because I have never even tried to template anything. When I try to learn from you specifically, I'm always trying to think like, what questions are you asking yourself to get to this end result?
Okay. So what questions am I asking myself? Well, so the first question is, that starts all of this, is how can I do less and create more, right? How can I, but also the biggest question is actually, how do I take something that I already know works and make it work again? Because every time I start from scratch, I'm taking a gamble. every single time I start from scratch, I'm taking a gamble. When I take something that I know has performed well, and then I reuse that, my chances of success go up dramatically, because I know it's the same reason why we create the Franken sequence in autoresponders, where we go through all of our best, we go through the autoresponder, and you look at opens, clicks, sales, and then you go through your blast emails that you're sending to your list, and you go which ones are performing the best, and then you take the best ones, you put them at the start of the autoresponder, and then you take your best blast emails and start to add them to the autoresponder, because I want to control their experience as much as I can with the best possible stuff I write. On a daily basis, I don't know if what I'm going to write is going to be is going to be the best thing I've written. What I do know is if there's something I've written that was amazing, I'd like them to read that as opposed to me relying on my own creativity. I've been creative plenty. Why not just reuse my creativity, right? So that's where this comes from. But when I'm looking at this, I think, what is a way that somebody else could actually, because I'm selling these, right? So I have to make it easy for people to fill them in. So how do I make this something that people can fill in? So maybe I can, and so I look down here, right? Maybe I can make this copywriting thing work. Maybe the sales letter will sell. Or where was it here? Maybe I could make money as a freelance copywriter. Get result they want. Maybe I can have a 6-pack, right? So now it's easy, but I want to be specific. Get result that they want. Maybe I can get other results, or maybe this good thing will happen, or maybe I'll take one action today, or whatever it is. Like maybe I'll skip carbs today, whatever it is. But I guess the question I'm asking is, how can I make this easy for somebody to fill in basically any niche? And not every email here is going to apply to like e-com and service, whatever it is. But if people just use one of the templates a month, they'll make their money back. What would Arnold say if his goal was to, whatever their goal is, he would say, I will be the greatest, whatever, person, what they do. And like sometimes, this could take a little creativity, but I don't think this is going to be too hard. I mean, I guess we could go through and like fill this out for a different niche or something. But, and then basically like, as you can see, then it just switches down. If you're working a full-time job, like, I'll wake up at 5 to perform this, I'll do this. And this is the type of email that's not, this is clearly like this is a get them off the fence type of email for people who are ready to succeed. It's not like a soft coddling, this is the easiest program in the world. So certain people won't want to send this, but there are a lot of people, there are a lot of people who identify as the people who will do whatever it takes to succeed. They probably aren't those people sometimes, but they think of themselves that way. So, and then it's, that's where this course comes in. It helps ensure you have the necessary knowledge to become this. I've laid out every step. It's kind of like learning bodybuilding from him. Yeah. So anyway, yeah.
So the first part is your story, where you would watch the video and you would wake up and you would train. How do we template that? Because that's not someone else's story.
Yeah, so I realized that I didn't finish this one, templating it, because this stuff is a little bit of this, but it could be, he wrote so basically that's it, is you would take, I actually think I did, so I did remove this stuff. So this is from the original. In fact, when I was in this, I'd wake up, all that's gone.
Okay.
See, so this one actually just says stuff about him. It doesn't say, the funny thing, I always thought he was just a famous guy. And like, people are going to have to, like, depending on how comfortable you feel with this, you're probably going to rewrite little pieces of it to match your voice. Like, if you wouldn't say famous dude, you might say famous guy, right? Like, you may change these little pieces that don't match your voice, but I did take out all the stuff about, even like, so right here, it says it's worth checking out his biography and watching a few of his speeches on YouTube. Like, it doesn't say I did this, I did all that. And then this person could, if they don't want to say I just stumbled across, it's like, I found a video or whatever it is. Does that make sense?
It does. Is there any risk of reducing the effectiveness of email by taking that personal story out of it, though? Like, do we know if that's what has helped with the
I
conversion?
mean, anytime you add personal story, it's probably going to improve it. But my thing is, like, I don't expect people to get 100% of the result. If you can get 80% of the result, that's plenty.
Makes sense.
Right? 80%. I mean, to be honest, 80% of the result of one of my emails is probably going to be better than 100% of the result of most people's emails.
Makes sense.
Especially if I've tested these, you know. So it's just the same thing with like timely emails, like newsworthy, time-sensitive emails. Dude, Justin, you were in my fucking dream too. You had longer hair though.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. And you kept trying to talk to me. I was trying to go to the bathroom, and you were like, hey man, I really need to talk to you. And I kept trying to find you after I'd go, but I couldn't find this bathroom. And then, yeah, and you just kept being like, I really need to talk to you about something. And I was like, but you had like curlyish, longer hair. Sorry, my dreams were nuts last night. Sorry, that just came back to me too. Do you have anything you need to talk to me about?
No, no.
Can we see the tattoo?
Oh yeah, it's let's see. Hold on. Oh, hold on. It's a very odd angle for this camera. There you go.
Wow, that's so crazy that the second self brought that about. That was like, I literally got chills reading that story.
Yeah, man, it's been huge for me. Now, anytime I do the second self, it's always right there, and I just go right into it.
That's crazy, man. It's your first tattoo, right?
No, I've got a bunch of other ones.
Oh, okay. I thought you like got your first, but it's your first, like that's a visible forearm tattoo.
Yeah, that's the first one you can see without me taking off a shirt.
Okay. Yeah, it took me a few to do that too, but that's wild, man. That's so cool. But yeah, so I think what I was saying is, like with newsworthy emails and stuff like time-sensitive stuff, like about current events, you can repurpose that because sometimes those will just crush, but you can repurpose them typically into an autoresponder or use them again with about, maybe 80%, 70% of the result. Because it's not forefront of their mind, but like I could still send like, last year when the Super Bowl was coming around, like they did these rules or whatever it was, instead of like with the Super Bowl coming up. So like if an email works once, it's going to work again. And people forget emails, and people also like to reread good ones. So like people are like, I don't want to send the same one. You can send an email 3 months, 6 months later, and people will still read it again. And sometimes people forget. I read my own stuff and I'm like, did I write this? Like, and sometimes I'm like, it seems like my voice. So let's see if this one. Okay, so here was one about, so what I used to do is like books have great stuff already laid out in them. Like when you read books, like they have cool concepts that they've already sort of talked about, and you just sort of borrow the concept for your own application. So like this thing had this, they called it the coloring book model, right? This guy was like, there's a lot of different ways to become great at something. Avi, the man behind the business that did the bubble wrap, the catalyst. So let's actually read the original because I'm curious about it. So there are a lot of different ways you can create behind 3D printing. So this, if you can point and click a mouse, you can now design things for a 3D printer. I call it the coloring book model. In the past, we had the canvas model. If you wanted to be a great artist, you had to have years of experience applying paint to a blank canvas. Now with our coloring book approach, if you want to be super creative, all you have to do is know to color between the lines. This is true for 3D printing, and it's also true for writing groundbreaking copy. How? Well, in the past, you had to spend countless hours learning theory about copy. If you were truly dedicated to writing copy, you'd hand copy hundreds of sales letters. Then you'd sit down at a blank page, construct your own sales message from scratch, and hope to the unforgiving copywriting gods that it would sell. That was the blank canvas model. Now we have the coloring book model. You learn the principles of great copy in digestible bits. You embed them in your brain rapidly using specific strategies, and you apply those strategies to writing a sales message using proven structures and sequencing, and know your copy is going to convert. That's what we're giving you in the PNS VSL system. It's a coloring book. If you can color inside the lines, then you can write a VSL that converts. It's so easy a kindergartner could do it. Simply open up your coloring book each morning, our daily emails, and color in the blanks. That's it. I know it may sound like an oversimplification, but it's the truth. We've both written countless sales letters and hand copied a whole lot more and distilled the entire process into something anyone can follow. All you need is your crayons, a mouse to open the emails, and desire to succeed. So if you have both of those, click the link below and get yourself a brand new spanking new shiny coloring book that will guide you through the process of writing a top-notch VSL and make all the other kids at school jealous. It's a pretty good email. I'm actually like, why didn't we use that promoting the VSL course this last time? So going through it, coloring book model for result they want. This is the one I would go with. It's also true for getting a six-pack. Well, in the past, you had to spend countless hours in theory learning about everything about diet and nutrition and working out, da, da, da. Then if you were truly dedicated, you would go to the gym for 2 hours a day and, you know, want to kill yourself. Then, and so this is, and, you know, and then you'd create a workout program for yourself from scratch and hope it would work. That was the blank canvas model. Now, if you learn the principles of how to actually, you know, get a six-pack, then, you know, follow the simple step-by-step plan I've laid out for you in this course. It's a coloring book. If you can color in and so see, I'll take out like, and somebody could add in some of the stuff that I sort of did there, but it's like, if you can color inside the lines, you can get a six-pack. It's so easy. Da, da, da. Simply open up your coloring book, the course name. That's it. I know it may sound this, but it's helped countless men and women get the body they deserve, and I've distilled it all down. So if you have those, click, and you can get the body you've always wanted, step-by-step blueprint to Is this something you guys think you could fill in, like these last two? Can you be honest? Like, is it too complex? How does it feel?
I think if you had a video walking through like you just did, explaining like what you would put in there, I think
that would help.
Yeah, I think that would give a lot more context.
Okay. That's very good to know. I don't know. What is Air Story?
Air Story, it's Joanna Weeb's. It's basically like a working template, kind of like, it's like Google Docs, but it has pre-existing templates just like this, pre-existing letters. And it's almost exactly like that, and you can just type right into it and save it in your own account.
We should figure out how to do that, James.
It's airstory.co.
Oh, and so you literally, that's the service?
Yeah, it's free.
James, get on that, my friend. What is this? No, that's really good feedback though, Gary. That's what I was thinking of doing, is just like going through some and showing what I would do for an actual offer. What's I got? I don't know if I finished this one. I guess I did. In the world, there exist two places of nearly identical physical layout. They both have grassy fields, perhaps some basketball courts and bars to play around on. They have fences surrounding them, and you're not allowed to leave. They're the prison and the playground. What's this got to do with, I guess we can just stay on theme. Or who wants to pick a topic? And I'll just do this. Anybody?
What type of topics does this one work with?
Let's see.
Because you know how not everything works for everything.
Yeah, but basically e-com would maybe be the only thing that this wouldn't, but I don't know if that's true. So let's give it a shot. I think it'll work. I think it'll work for just about anything info-based.
Info-based?
Yeah, like anything that's not probably anything that's not like a physical product. I'll do health.
I guess Daryl says ketosis.
Oh, okay. That's good, Daryl. And there exist two places of near identical physical layout. They're the prison and the playground. So what does this have to do with using ketosis to burn fat? Let me explain. Well, the prison and playground have very similar layouts. They're viewed in completely different ways. The prisoner is surrounded by fences and cannot leave the premises. He feels caged in, like the world's holding him back from his true desires. He looks around and sees all the opportunities he doesn't have. The child on the playground, however, has a very different view. He looks out the field and fences and sees an endless opportunity. He sees the jungle gym as a pirate ship. He doesn't see an empty field. He sees a perfect place to play tag. While the child's allowed to go home at the end of the day, he cannot leave until then. He's also caged in, but in no way does he feel like it. So what's the correlation? What does this have to do with the veto diet? That food is vetoed. Here it is. When you're struggling with losing fat, you view the world as a place of restriction, a place of lack. You see fences and guards. When you have a body
You can be proud of.
Yeah, that's it. You can be proud of. You see the world as your playground. When you become so when you look in the mirror and love what you see, you can do whatever you want. The world's truly yours. You can be yourself, your best self. You don't have to hold back. You don't have to have regrets. You can live life at full speed. Right now, you're effectively driving a car with 2 feet, hitting the gas pedal and the brakes. Now, if you actually did that in your car, you'd realize it's stupid. So why do so many people live their life that way? You need to learn how to stop pressing the brakes. I can show you that. That's the whole point of this rant, to show you what's possible. You don't have to see the world as a cage. It can be your playground. Perception and belief for everything. That's why I think you should check out my keto diet fast track. It'll change the way you see the world, and the world sees you. You could even do that, because that is true. When you see when you lose fat, like, okay. I'll teach you everything you'd ever want to know about ketosis and the easiest diet plan to stay in keto. It's not a great copy, but you get it. Talk soon. Send me an email. So that was what, 4 minutes? I mean, that's pretty, it makes perfect sense, right? Pretty clear. So, because that's the thing. So you don't have to get super specific. I think people think, well, I didn't talk about keto much. You're not talking about keto. What you're talking about in this email is you're talking about the feeling of having a body that you like. That's what you're selling here. You're selling the feeling of having a body that you can look in the mirror and be proud of. You're not selling ketosis. Nobody's ever sold keto. You sell the feeling of being in shape. Again, you don't sell results. You sell feelings. That's what everybody's selling. So is that useful for you guys to see that in motion? Cool. Daryl, you want that email, bro? You want to use that for the keto stuff? So what we could do, we have a few more minutes. I could just try and find another email to make a template out of while we're on here, if you guys want to. I like this one. Subject line 1, don't. This was this was a survival and look. People make stupid decisions every single day. Sometimes they make stupid decisions that cost them their lives. So my message to you is this: don't, just don't. I don't say it to scare you. I don't say it to make you feel bad. I say it because I care. I've dedicated my life to learning everything there is to know about survival. That's why I'm offering a great deal on our game-changing fire guide. Click here to get it for just $10. It's less than what you'd spend on a lunch at your local diner these days. Talk soon, Josh. I like these short ones a lot for the templates because it's very easy. Okay. Daryl, are you really doing vegan keto? Jesus. I don't know if you guys already know how I feel about vegan, but I don't need to get into it. I mean, if you want to.
How do you feel about vegan?
Who asked that?
That's me.
I mean, how do I feel about it? I feel like, I mean, I could lose some people here, but I feel like if you want to deny tens of thousands of years of evolution and ignore the fact that we were designed eating meat and that's how we made it, then, you know, that's cool. We have canines for a reason to eat meat. I mean, yeah, don't need to go too far into it. Okay, so see, so these things, like, can you see that these emails, they're not all about this like specific stuff. People get caught up in the idea that an email has to be this like wonderful, beautiful message with information and shit. Sometimes it's just to get somebody to fucking do something, to feel something, right? So if I put don't, it's like sometimes people make stupid decisions that keep them poor or keep them from making. So for our money product, right? Sometimes people make stupid decisions that keep them from achieving the level of wealth that they know that they want. So a message to you is this: don't, just don't. I don't say that to scare you. I don't say that to make you feel bad. I say it because I care. I've dedicated my life to learning everything there is to know about making more money. Or I've dedicated, the past few years of my life to learning everything there is to know about money. That's why I'm offering, or about making more money or keeping your money. That's why I'm offering a great deal on a new Money Matrix course. Click here to get it for this price. That's less than, that's less than you pay to do your taxes each year, whatever it is. Grab it now and you'll thank me later. Like, it's so easy with some of these, right? Cool. So James, you said Greg has a submission. We could go over that real quick. If you guys want, we could potentially too Greg, that's funny. Vegetarian is the Indian word for bad hunter. That's classic, Greg. Okay. Where is the...
It's in the unit call submissions.
Is that in... Cool. Because if you got, what I could do is when I make the next templates for the email of the month club, I could just get on the call and like make them with you guys and show you me going through them, like the actual process of it.
That'd be cool.
Cool. Are you ready to go from stressed and unhappy to having a true and lasting relationship? Discover exactly how to heal your relationship and gain a happy life easily, quickly, and effortlessly starting now. 100% guaranteed. Do this without stress, hypnotic tricks, emptying your purse, disrespecting yourself in any way. This is something that I've been wanting to test, and I'm going to do it with Mike Gary's office, I think, is not using a headline. I actually am not a big fan of any of these headlines, Greg. They're just kind of like pretty generic and they don't make me feel anything. But this is strong, actually. Let's face it. Attracting and keeping a relationship in perfect harmony is often difficult, especially if you've had issues in the past. Try this simple test. I would actually put the first line. What would you guys do here? What difference would I want to see what you guys would maybe do? Just based on these 4 lines you can see.
I would make it kind of, yeah, well, it doesn't speak to me, and I'm in a relationship and have been for like 13 years, been married to the same man, right? You know, it's more like from GTFO to come here, let's play, right? You know, I mean, how strong can you make the emotion to say, you know, where you are in such a horrible relationship, or where you think you are in your horrible relationship, and how can you come back from that? It's just, it's not pulling me in there. And I've been in some pretty hard spots. I mean, y'all got to see my vulnerability in my first submission, you know? So, I mean, it doesn't speak to me as like the pain point.
Yeah, I do like the test thing. I think you could open with try this simple test. Think about the kind of relationship you wish you're in right now. Is that the way it is? If so, you know, congratulations. If not, keep reading because I have something really, you know, really interesting that I want to tell you. But that's a good first line. Try this simple test. What test? Right? This is actually not that strong, but try this simple test. That's a good first line. So then I'd go from there. You remember how it all started and how often the two of you used to make each other feel, but it's changed. First just a few things, then things start turning irritation. This also hasn't been run through Hemingway app, has it?
Yes, it has.
Yeah, this sentence made it?
Yes. Well, within the parameters of the entire page, it was, I mean, I think one of those that was harder to read, but it was, you know.
Oh, see, so when you get a sentence that's harder to read, you got to make it not.
Okay. So
I would keep it in there. So I'm not trying to be rude. I would just keep it. So you, in the Hemingway app itself, like, so it's good if you're down at, you know, the, at like a 3rd or 4th grade level, but you know, if you, let's see. So this is how I got good at this, right? Was I literally would copy my shit in here, and then anytime there was one of these or these, I would work on it until it wasn't that.
okay.
So,
What about for the yellows? Do you keep the yellows?
I try not to. I mean, how good do you want to get?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, so you want to actually like work on this sentence and like rearrange it in a way that it's more powerful.
I would
Is,
also start that as a question. Do you
Yeah.
remember how it all
that's
started?
what it is. Yeah. Do you remember how it all started?
Then how awesome that, you know, how you felt when you looked at each other. You know, how did you make each other feel, or how you made each other feel?
There's just a few things. Then things start to turn into irritation, then into hurt feelings manifesting, and now it manifests. So, and again, like whenever you've got these INGs, see how it says attracting and keeping a relationship. What was that just there? And now it's manifesting into real pain. And then it manifests into real pain, or like keeping it more active language.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that's just a little writing thing. For improvement, it's time to be serious. It's time to experience real relationship. If you ever want to get away from here, try this. So what I want to do here is actually just see if I see anything that stands out to me, because right now it's just, it needs something like a bit of a punch. So, see, this is, That's pretty interesting. What if you could improve your relationship in just one session? Or what's the most unique thing about this? How about a story, man?
Okay.
Right? Like, what, you got to have some stories from these people, right? Tell the story, change the names if you need to, but meet Jack and Jill. Jack worked 40 hours a week, 50 hours a week, and came home, and at the end of the day, he was tired. He didn't want to talk to his wife. He just wanted to sit there and eat some dinner. She thought that he would, she waited all day, around all day, whatever it is, but like, take a true story and just write the story of what they were like. Like, maybe you can identify with some of this. Well, here's what their life looks like now. So how did they do it? They used Couples Wise, which is this, this incredible process where 90% of people report an increase, an improvement in their relationship after just the first session. Because I think you need something here that's just, is this converting right now, or are you making sales from it, or?
Not many.
Yeah, so I think that's what's missing is like, tell me a story about a couple. Like, I mean, the crazier, I would just try and find a couple, see which one you feel comfortable writing. But I mean, you have stories, right?
Yeah. And just to touch on Bobby's point a little bit, this program isn't for people who have it works for people who are in a train wreck relationship, but it also works for those people that have been married for 20, 25 years and just want it to be a little better. Also, it's good for newlyweds and dating people, but that part of it's so abstract, it's hard to focus down and get to that one relationship. So I don't know if we want to, hit hard first on the people who are train wrecks and try and convert them, or do we convert for
who do you want? Right? Who do you want as your prospect? Because that's going to determine how you talk to them, right?
Yep.
I mean, if you want people that are in a great relationship and they want to get better, this isn't going to attract them because they're like, well, my relationship's great. What do I need this for? If you've got people that they're in that frustration right now, well, you can't tell them, hey, is your relationship great? Would you like it to be better? So who do you want to talk to? And then, get your prospect in front of you and then write to them.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing is you want people in relationships. So you can deal with that in your copy just by doing what you actually said, Greg. Look, whether you're in a train wreck of a relationship that feels like it has no hope, or you have a pretty good relationship and you just want it to be better. Or maybe things have just been on the rocks for a few weeks or months and you're ready to get things back to where they used to be. Like that alone, that qualifies your three sort of groups of relationships.
Okay.
You can just say that because you don't need to, unless you want to be like, hey, you in a fucking disaster relationship, we'd love to work with you. So that's what I would do is those literally listen to the recording, just copy down those 3 sentences and there you have it. But I would put a story, like really find that story. I think that's what you need.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, they're probably going to kick me out of my hotel room pretty soon here. So I think we got through quite a bit. What, as far as the template stuff goes, does anybody else have any other feedback? Any sort of ideas of maybe what you guys would want to see? I mean, if I decided to get on a call, on next week, and
do you have, so you templatize what you've got, right? Do you have live examples where you've got it, here's it in this that you've run and it's been successful, here's it in this industry, same thing, where you can start to see how the template works and then the results that came from using that same thing over and over again?
No, I mean, I can't get like the results from everything. It's unrealistic for me to like,
Well, yeah, I mean, I understood, but like, you take your Schwarzenegger one,
yeah.
and it's
And
one thing to say it worked here, it will work everywhere. Or there's, hey, here's where I had it in this industry. Here's where I had it in this industry. Both of them worked really well. Here's how I template.
yeah, maybe what it is it's a before, during, and sort of after, right? So I show you, this is the original email. This is the template, and this is one that I wrote based on the template for a different industry. Yeah, I think that'd be useful for them to see. Like, so that was useful for you guys to see the one with the keto thing, right?
Yeah, and a lot of the problem is it's one thing to say, in theory, this would work if you templatize it. It's another to say, I have done it. Here's where I've done it a couple of times, and you see why this works. Does that make sense? Because anybody can put a template out and say, hey, here's a great template, you should use it. But if you can't use it across industries, or you haven't demonstrated that you've used it across industries, that's part of where the problem comes, right? Some of us are, when I say some of us, I'm having a hard time sometimes conceptualizing how to take it from what you've used it for to something else, even though
What I could do is I could have people just submit the templates they create and show people what people have done in different industries with it. That'd probably be a pretty great way to do it. I won't be able to do that every month, but at least for some of them.
Yeah, you could probably do it like the double your conversion style, just get everyone's results, and then be like, ta-da!
Yeah. No, I think that's smart. And then the video helps, huh? Just seeing me go through it on video.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool. That's super helpful. Yeah, I'll keep on trucking on that. Cool. So I'll let you guys know if I'm gonna, because I mean I've got to create new templates anyway, so I may as well just record it for you guys. All right, maybe have somebody on the call. Cool. All right. Well, that wraps it up for today. We will talk tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Soon. Talk soon. I've been traveling for a month. Tired. I spoke yesterday. I actually got 8 hours of sleep finally, but I'm just still beat up. I need rest. So, not yet though. But cool. All right, guys. I'll see you later on.